everyone, it's xBundok here, and today we're going to be talking about some brushes I picked up. I did get some of the ghost brushes. So to give them their trial run, I did prime and zenithal a desert giant from the Pathfinder series. So these are the 3 brushes that I picked up. 2, even though they're different brushes, kind of end up feeling that same size. And then I also got their medium-sized dry brush to give a go. So yeah, they are white. I know that they're going to stain. That's fine. I'm not deeply concerned about it. But I wanted to give them a fair shake. I wanted to see how they perform. My local store was only selling them for $3 a brush. So if you wanted to get a full set, it might be a little steep, but it's not too bad singularly. So these are the paints I'm using. Just so you know, I am giving them a fair shake with standard pro acryls, some Citadel contrast, some metallic. Now, I will admit not all of them are on video. I didn't get all of them recorded. I do apologize. And forgive the fur drifting into the stream. Somebody, needs to feel involved. So what I will say is the thing with these brushes, they are exceptionally soft. So our dry brush, we had one stray strand there, but otherwise it's level. But the bristles just feel soft versus some of the other brushes I have. Both the dry brush and the other 2 brushes. I did pick up I'd say their medium-sized detailing brush. I did not pick up a 00. I kind of wanted to, but the barrel looked really thin on that, and I, for lack of better terms, have gorilla paws. So I really prefer to have a fatter handle if I'm working with details. But this brush, the bristle length and shape feels pretty similar to the other brush that I picked up as well, even though it just has the wider handle on it. So, maybe that's my own fault, and so be it. But we're going to test out the number 3, probably doing a little bit of the clothing. I'm going to start with standard paint on that one, and then probably roll in with some speed paints. The detailing brush, I'm going to work with the face, I think, just because that's a smaller area. And then the dry brush, I'm not sure I'll get to dry brushing the full mini today, but we'll give it a shot on maybe the base for the model. That'll be good to give it a test round go. So let's see how these perform. So what I'll say is for the 3 that I picked up, I think this number 3 brush is my favorite. Applying full strokes, especially when I'm looking at a material that's supposed to be a bit more like fabric or something like that, it does an excellent job with distribution. The point pretty well retains its shape. That is an issue I have. I know that I'm really hard on the tips of brushes, and they bend after, maybe a couple weeks worth of use at most. So the resiliency of it makes it a winner for me. The white bristles also kind of help, just because I know exactly where the paint's sitting on my brush. However, again, it's really soft, so if I do too much pressure, I feel like I have a little bit lack of control whenever I'm putting paint on here, and that really comes into play in a little bit when I go over that detailing brush. But for now, with the hold and the distribution on just standard paints, it's great. And with the speed paint, I'd say the same thing. I'd almost say it doesn't drop the paint well enough. I feel like the brush holds onto it a little bit more than the other brushes I've used with the speed paints. I feel like it has a little bit of an issue just getting the rest of it onto the brush. And I tried while I was doing this to have, different amount of moisture in the brush before applying the speed paint, be it more paint to water, a little bit more water to paint. And in both regards, it felt like it just soaked into the bristles. And I don't know if that's because of the softness of the texture. I don't know if any of you have these similar brushes or same brushes, just out of curiosity if you have the same issues. But that's just something I was experiencing with it. Otherwise, yeah, I will absolutely use this brush for my standard colors versus my contrasts though, because I really like the feel of it and I like how it was able to lay down an even coating. Now, like I said, this brush, the head feels about the same size as the other brush. However, the handle is a bit more fat, so it's just helpful for detailing. It was tagged, essentially, as a detailing brush. No, it's not a 00. Yes, I'll probably pick one up in the future to see how that handles. But my main complaint about this brush is no control, I feel. Once I did try and apply a bit more pressure for the face, I felt like I had no control over where the paint was going. Maybe actually less so that, but more so the amount of paint getting onto the figure. Now, that could be me just because I am still a bit of an amateur. Even though I've been doing this for forever, I don't do it full time, you know? I haven't taken any classes. But I feel that it was definitely globby. Once I cut the video here, there's actually a point, I take a paper towel and I dab some of the excess paint off. I go back in with the number 3 and add where I wanted paint and balance it out a little bit more. So I really wasn't fond of this one. I mean, it's a little bit of a roller coaster where I sit with these brushes just from those two. So we'll give the dry brush a shot. Now the one that I got is a little bit of a, like I said, it's their medium size, it's a bit of a bigger brush, and I'm not ready to dry brush the figure yet. So I'm going to take the base, I'm going to get a little bit of a coat on it. When I was ready to record, it wasn't still fully dry with that coat of paint on, but the edges were. So we're just going to give a light dry brush around the edges, and I'm going to follow my same usual procedure, get some on the brush, take it off with a paper towel. Once it gets to about where I'd like it, then we're going to hit the mini with that texture. Can't complain, honestly. Again, it has that real soft feeling, so you don't really control the amount of paint or wear, but I feel for basing, that is totally fine. That's kind of what I want. I want it random. I don't want something that looks uniform on the base of the model, of course. I would need to see how I feel about using it on a mini. So this size brush, I probably want to do up one of my monsters and, you know, try and use it for like a fur texture or something like that so I can get a better gauge on it. But you guys let me know, have any of you used any of these brushes at any point? Are they a regular tool in your arsenal? Do you enjoy using them? Surprising thing for me, and I guess this is my end cap, they do clean up pretty well. Here's a dry brush after, you know, rinsing. I didn't even wash it yet, just a rinse. Cleaned off fine. The number 3 didn't hold on to the pink staining from the contrast like you'd expect with a white bristle brush and a bright magenta paint. So all in all, good tool, helpful if you only want to buy one. You know, if you're trying to slowly build up what you need. I'm not sure if folks with a higher skill level will be really fond of them though. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if any of you have used these brushes, or if you have any tips or tricks for what I consider the main issue is being the soft bristle, and having a little bit of issue with control of the paint, but otherwise retaining the point shape of it, as well as the, flexibility, I'd say, of the brushes is pretty good. So I mean, solid 3 out of 5. Room for improvement, but not awful. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys take care, and I'll see you next time.